يا شباب. قصف جديد، قصف جديد يا شباب، قصف جديد ما بنهيئة الأركان خالص. قصف جديد يا شباب، قصف، خذونا بسرعة بسرعة.
That was Syria's capital building, the presidential palace, or parts of it at least, in Damascus just yesterday. Israeli forces laid waste to Syria's Defense Ministry's headquarters in order to defend the minority Druze sect in southern Syria, whose community straddles the border with the Israeli-occupied Golan Heights. According to NPR, the attack killed so far 3 people and wounded 34. This comes after a ceasefire agreement has been struck between the Syrian government and the Druze religious leaders on Tuesday. A new ceasefire was agreed on yesterday, but more conflict is expected. Anti-Israel critics say this is Israel acting like a fascistic, bloodthirsty imperialist nation. Others, however, are pointing out how the largely Islamic Syrian government has been committing violence and genocide against the Druze people and Christians. Remember, in 20 years, the Christian population has been decimated in Syria, from 2 million to 300,000, all from targeted violence by Syrian Muslims. Of course, when it comes to Christian genocide, the rest of the world just ignores it. In June, an Islamic suicide bomber decided to blow up a Christian Greek Orthodox church in Damascus, killing at least 15. That doesn't speak to the current situation. Now, it seems as though we've seen things like this happen over the past few months on replay. Peace talks occur, a ceasefire is agreed upon, the ceasefire is violated, a new ceasefire is negotiated, and we start all over again. It wasn't long ago that Trump met with Syrian President Ahmed al-Sharaa in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, and lifted decades-long sanctions in hopes to open up the Syrian economy and build relations with the nation. This, of course, raised a lot of eyebrows, but it was part of this greater strategy. Here's Secretary of State Marco Rubio on the Syria bombing from the Oval yesterday.
Yeah, it's complicated, obviously. These are historic, long-time rivalries between different groups in the southwest of Syria, Bedouins, the Druze community, and it led to an unfortunate situation and a misunderstanding, it looks like, between the Israeli side and the Syrian side. So we've been engaged with them all morning long and all night long with both sides, and we think we're on our way towards a real de-escalation and then hopefully get back on track.
What does he mean by misunderstanding? We bring in retired naval aviator and national security analyst, Captain Chuck Nash. Chuck, I'm so glad to have you back on. What do you think Secretary Rubio meant by this could be a misunderstanding? That seemed like a pretty deliberate bombing.
Yeah, it was deliberate. And I think maybe what happened, Chanel, is that the U.S. government demarched the Syrians, said basically, don't interfere with this, or the Israelis demarched them, and they sent troops down anyway. What you've got down there in that town of Swaida, it's a fairly good-sized town. It is a Druze stronghold. The Druze are only about 3% of the population in Syria, so it's a very small group. But as you pointed out in your intro, the Assad apologists would say, but he protected the Druze and the Christians. Well, he did a lot of bad things, and that's why he's not there anymore. The Islamist government appears to be not treating its religious minorities very well. The problem with this and the Druze is that the Israelis consider the Druze allies. In fact, Israeli citizens who are Druze serve in the military in Israel. So they are not going to allow the Islamist government to persecute that minority, especially that minority that holds territory that close to the Israeli and Jordanian borders.
For all our viewers asking where One America News is heading in the future, we would like to introduce you to OAN Live. OAN Live is the best way to stay up to date on all of the hard-hitting, straight-shooting, national and international headlines. And the best part is, OAN Live is only $4.99 per month. All the credible, honest, unbiased reporting One America News offers at a fraction of the cost of cable. Just go to OANN.com to easily sign up for OAN Live and stay informed.